Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Ethereum, and we're going to discuss the most recent rejection off of the bull market support band, or as always, if you prefer in a bear market, the bear market resistance band. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. Let's go ahead and jump in. So if you go back through the most recent videos on Ethereum on my channel in 2022, you will know that I have remained quite bearish on this asset. I am not a perma bear. I do think we'll see another bull run for Ethereum, but I'm also realistic in my expectations. We've talked about the likelihood that Ethereum is just going to receive a series of rejections off of the bear market resistance band. And now we have actually had four of them. One of them took place in March of 2022 at around 3,500. And then, of course, we had one in August at around 2,000, in September at around 1,700 to 1,800, and in October at around 1,600. So we're just sort of slowly stepping down in our tests of the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. Furthermore, we've also discussed at length the 200-day moving average as the sort of the final area that it often gets rejected before you get another leg down. And we drew the parallels between what happened back over here in early 2022 and what was also happening over here in late 2022. You may notice we just had a low in January, a higher low, and then a rejection off the 200-day, and then a failure to put in a higher low. The same thing happened again, right? A low, these higher lows over here, a rejection at the 200-day, and once again, a failure to put in a higher low. So again, the bear market pushes on. We need to respect these bear market conditions. We understand that the macroverse has not started to look any better just yet. And therefore, as always, it makes sense to remain cautious on risk assets, especially cryptocurrencies, because you know how quickly they can go down under these outstanding conditions. Now, obviously, you could equate the most recent drop to what is going on in the cryptoverse right now with sort of the insolvencies and whatnot. But you could also say, I mean, I didn't know that that was going to be the reason, but it still seemed to me somewhat likely that a rejection off the 200-day was in fact coming, as we've discussed many times. One thing you should remember is that as the Federal Reserve tightens monetary conditions, it's going to bring the sort of the froth of the cryptoverse to the surface, and you're going to see the ones that have made irresponsible decisions when times were good, when interest rates were low and access to capital was cheap. Now, the Fed raising rates, it's going to make you see which projects are actually worth their salt. Now, again, long term, I still remain macro bullish on Ethereum, but I've also been adamant that there's a high likelihood that Ethereum is ultimately going to head home, right? And we've talked about this throughout this year. And the general expectation, of course, is that Ethereum goes through a series of bull runs, right? A series of bull runs, but it ultimately just heads home at the end of the day, and that's back to its logarithmic regression band fit to quote unquote non-bubble data. And so we're sort of seeing that same trend take place, for the fifth time, really. Now, it takes a long time. I mean, it's taking a really long time for us to get there, but I do think we will get there eventually. And it will take us going to those levels in the regression band, in my opinion, before we can actually support another bull run and support, a sustained move in the market. Because while moves like this might be fun for people that are sort of just in the dip buying mode, they're short-lived, they're fleeting, they don't last very long, and all the people that come in are just very quickly underwater with their investments when you just continue to see those rejections off of the 200-day SMA, or again the 20-week SMA, 21-week EMA. But again, these are, these are sort of squeezing together here, right? Like the 20-week SMA is coming down. The Ethereum logarithmic regression band is still pushing slowly higher. And to me, it seems like it's not going to take too much longer for them to meet. Now, again, I mean, if Ethereum pops back up at some point, I mean, it could always still take some time. We got relatively close back in June, and then we popped back up for a while in August into the Ethereum merge in September, and we've continued to hang out at these levels, but now we find ourselves right back at the levels before we took off. Okay, I mean, we're just right back at these prior levels. So you're seeing Ethereum find at least some support in this area, but I mean, if Bitcoin continues with the downward pressure, which there's still, plenty of reasons that it could, Ethereum can also simply see a lower low, right? Ethereum has not seen a lower low yet, but that could easily be the case. And I will say, for the people that might say, well, Ethereum is holding up relatively well. First of all, there's some validity to that statement given what Bitcoin has done. But I also do know that a lot of those losses that Ethereum can experience can happen very quickly, right? When it moves down, it can move down incredibly quickly, just like it did back in earlier 2022, where, I mean, we essentially had, like 2 to 3 months of just red candles in a row, right? I mean, this is 10 weeks in a row where we just saw red candles. It was just one after another for quite some time. So I think caution, I mean, look, I'm not offering financial advice here, but as always, I think caution is required. I think patience will be rewarded, and the general expectations of rejections off the bull market support band have paid off so far, right? Eventually we'll break above. Hopefully I turn bullish on it before we break above. That'll be the real trick. But so far, I would argue that our general expectations have been met, and we'll continue to follow this. And eventually, once we get down to levels that are really deep value, then it might be time to sort of flip back to the bullish side. If you remember back to 2018, the drawdown that Ethereum had was about 95% or so. I'm not saying Ethereum's going to go down 95%, but even if it went down, say, 87%, which is what Bitcoin went down after its 95% bear market, that would still put Ethereum at $600, right? It'd still put ETH at 600. And if you're new to crypto and you've constantly doubted these sort of lower predictions, I mean, the last several months should have woken you up at this point that you should plan for these scenarios, even if they don't necessarily happen, but there is a high likelihood that they could happen. And if you don't plan for it and it does happen, then the only person you have to blame is yourself, because the evidence has been there that we could go back to these levels. We could go back to the regression band. It can be a long journey. And I know every step of the way, it can make you want to YOLO back in, right? Like every single bear market, these counter trend rallies, they're brutal for people that are just sitting on the sidelines, right? I know, because I'm pretty light on Ethereum myself, and I have been for basically most of this year. The bear market rallies are brutal. It's a tough pill to swallow sometimes when you're relatively light on an asset and you're watching it just go up, 5 weeks straight or something. But I mean, at the end of the day, we really find ourselves back to where we were near the lows. I mean, we're essentially fairly close to the prior lows where we spent most of our time. The actual low on ETH is from this year, anyways, is what is it? It's 880. So it's 880. So in order to get there, Ethereum would have to drop another 25%. To get to 600, you're talking about another 47%. It's possible. I mean, nothing's a guarantee, but again, these are things we've discussed the entire year, and so far it's just been a slow journey to those levels. Sort of like the oftentimes it can be sort of like the stairs up, and and then the escalator up or something, and then the elevator down, where it just goes like straight down really quickly and leaves everyone sort of underwater who got in over the last like 3 months or so. So hopefully you enjoyed the update on Ethereum. We will of course continue to follow this as the weeks continue to pass us by, and we'll see if it eventually lands in our trusty lower logarithmic regression band fit to non-bubble data. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, give the video a thumbs up. We also do have the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com, so make sure you check that out. You sign up, you'll get access to weekly reports, 3 premium videos per week. We have a Telegram alerts channel, a Telegram chat room, a website, an app, and so on and so forth. Trading view indicators as well. So check it out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.